Right, what is up, everybody? Been talking about it for a while, but we're finally here. The first week of back-to-back pay-per-views, UFC 267. Gonna be an awesome card. You got Corey Sandhagen taking on Peter Yan for the bantamweight interim title, and then you got Glover Teixeira taking on Jan Blachowicz for a 205 light heavyweight title, and then you got Islam Makhachev taking on Dan Hooker. Khamzat Chimaev is back versus Li Jingliang. A great card, and in my opinion, next weekend's card looks even better. We'll see how it plays out, but I mean, we got two great cards on our hands here, and it's awesome. Quick recap of last weekend. I did pretty good, man. I made some money, finally, back in the winning tracks here. I didn't bet on as many fights, and it worked out well for me. So, but, you know, you still want options. You still want to assess every fight and, you know, pick the best fight. So that's why I do all that research. I hit really well with Marvin Vettori and Costa. I didn't even need to research that fight. A lot closer than I expected it to be honest. Costa looked really good. He didn't gas like I thought he would. He looked tired in the first and the second, but he really turned it on, kept throwing power, hit Marvin with that head kick and that body kick, and Marvin is just a gangster, and he ate those shots, and I'm impressed with both guys. I don't like that Costa didn't make weight. I think it's disrespectful, but it is what it is. It was a great fight regardless, and Vettori got paid at least. And then Grant Dawson, Rick Glenn, not the best fight. A draw that kind of sucks in a co-main event, but, you know, a good fight. Rick Glenn showed a lot of heart, and he's making his last run in the UFC, and Grant Dawson's a tough guy, so good on him. I got, that was a push, so I picked Grant Dawson in that one. And then Alex Casares and Sung Woo Choi. I knew it, man. Sung Woo Choi with that illegal knee. Not going to lie, it probably helped me out, but it is what it is. And then Casares got that beautiful submission. He just passed by Sung Woo Choi's punch and got around his back and just tapped him out in seconds. It was awesome. That was a big underdog for me. And then Francisco Trinaldo and Dwight Grant get good fun fight, and Trinaldo pulled it out for me. And I did all right, man. Not the best card, but it was fun. The main event was great, and I had some fun fights in there. Jung Young Park and Gregory Rodriguez. Wow, what a goddamn fight. I picked that one wrong, but you know what? I'm not even mad about it. They both rocked each other. They both looked great. Gregory Rodriguez is strong as hell. Got Jung Young Park down with no resistance, it seemed like. I know Jung Young Park was fighting for every inch in that fight, but, Rodriguez is just so strong. But Rodriguez is powerful as fuck, and it basically was just an old-school dog fight. It was an awesome fight. So it was a closely lined fight, so I'm not really too mad about that fight. But anyway, for this weekend, like I said, did a quick rundown, and I'm ready to get into it. So here we go, UFC 267, back on Fight Island. And let's get in with the first fight I looked at. We got the feature fight on the prelims at 185. You got Albert Duraev taking on Roman Kopylov. Duraev coming off a victory on the Contender Series. In that fight, he took on Caio Bittencourt. Not much to it. Got a first-round victory. In the first round, he shoots a double leg from space, and then he gets it up against the fence. And then he's able to work the full mount and land some ground and pound. And he's able to keep position the whole time, working carefully, not rushing anything. And then he's able to get back, get around the back control, and then he lands some ground and pound from there, softening him up. And then he just gets the rear naked choke submission. Like I said, softening him up, opening up that submission for himself, and got the victory. Looked really good. Before that, he wasn't, he was in amateur promotion, so it's a short fight, but I thought that'd be the best data to look at for UFC talent, so it is what it is. But he looks really good. And then he taking on Roman Kopylov. He took on Carl Roberson in his last fight. And the first round of that fight, he pumps his jab, he backs up, he throws hooks. He lands straight to the body. He lands a head kick as Carl presses him. Then he returns Roberson and lands a 1-2 of his own. And in the second round, he gets pressed with the combo, and he eats leg kicks. But he lands a body kick when they're fighting inside the pocket, and then he eats a jab and a hard leg kick. He eats a leg kick, but then he backs up and he eats a head kick. But he lands a body shot in 1-2 as Carl presses him forward. So utilizing counter punching. In the third round, he shoots a double from space, but he gets stuffed. But then he lands a counter combo off of the straight left of Roberson. Then he eats a leg kick and then a 1-2 up against the fence. But he lands a flurry in the pocket. But then he backs up and eats some jabs from Roberson. But then he gets pressed to the fence and taken down. And he gives up his back. And then he gets rear naked choked and tapped out. And like I said, Roberson, very, very quick guy. And he was able to land some counter punches, but, he got submitted at the end of the day, kind of folded in the third round there, it looked like. Take a look at the betting line. Kopylov plus 280, Duraev minus 365. I hate that price. New guy, unproven, but, Kopylov hasn't fought in a while. I forgot to mention that fight was roughly a year and a half or 2 years ago. So I don't like that at all. I hate the price, but you're going to have fights like this every once in a while. You can't just bet every big underdog because sometimes a lot of them hit, sometimes none of them hit. So it really sucks, but I think Albert Duradev can get it done. My 65 sucks, but my pick here is Albert Duradev. Main event of the prelims at 145, you got Ricardo Ramos taking on Zabara Takugoff. Ramos took on Aljo his last fight. In the first round, he's able to duck under his jab, and he's able to take his back standing, get in the backpack position, throw the hooks in, but he gets shaken off eventually. But he hits a jab as he's moving forward, but he stalks and lands a counter left hook, and then he lands a jab, and he gets the double to the back, and then gets back on the feet. He's able to get the inside trip, and then he's able to get to the back again and get the rear naked choke position. And then in the second round, he lands a straight right, and then a body kick, and then he lands a jab, and then he backs up, and he catches a kick, and he gets the body lock up against the fence if he eats a knee, but he's able to get the inside trip again, and then he's able to get the standing darce, and doesn't come of it, but he's able to threaten it at least, but he eats some straight shots, but he pumps his jab, and then he ducks under the jab, and he gets the clinch on the fence. Then in the third round, he's able to duck the jab again. He tries the inside trip, but it gets stuffed, but then he eats the right cross, and in an exchange, then he lands a jab at range, and he shoots, and he comes up, and then he lands a right cross, and then he lands a jab, and then he counters, and he eats, but his jab gets countered, and he eats a left hook, and then he lands a jab, and he eats body shots, but then he eats a body shot in the clinch, but he gets the inside trip, and then he's able to get back control, but Aljo gets up, but still able to seal that takedown at the end of the round, which is huge, especially in a close fight. I thought Aljo took every round, but I thought Ramos took every round, but it's always good to get the last takedown if you can get it. And then Taku Golf, he took on Hakeem Dawodu his last fight about a year ago on Fight Island. A little bit of layoff, a little bit of a concern there. Not hugely concerned, but you know, year's a year. And in the first round, he lands a counter left hook at range. He lands a 1-2. Then he lands a jab. Then he heeled back out. So just touching and moving. And then in the second round, he presses forward, lands an uppercut. He eats a jab, but he lands an overhand right, and then an uppercut. And then he lands an uppercut and then a left hook, but he eats a counter straight right from Hakeem. But then he eats jabs. He's moving forward from Hakeem. He eats jabs, but he shoots a single on the fence. But not able to get it, but he's able to slow the momentum down. But then he misses overhand right, but he clinches, but he's able to get the ankle pick, and then he's able to stay on the back. Clinch position kind of goes for that angle, goes for that ankle, and he's able to get him down and get around his back for about the last 20, 30 seconds of the round. Then in the third round, he lands a straight right, and he shoots on the fence, but he gets stuffed. He eats a jab, but he's throwing a hook, but he shoots a single leg to the fence, but it gets stuffed, and then he eats a left hook to the body, and then he walks into the right hook of Dawodu. And this whole last round, he was not engaging. He thought he was up 2 rounds, and he lost a split decision, so that's what happens. Very bad ring IQ, but hopefully he can learn from that. You take a look at the betting line, Takugoff minus 165, Ramos plus 145. I do like Ramos. I like his inside trips. Really slick with that. I think he might be able to get some in this fight, but unfortunately, I think Takugoff hasn't beat on the feet, and Takugoff's wrestling's decent enough. The price, I would like to bet on the underdog, but the price is close enough. I think Takugoff is just going to beat him on the feet. He's able to stuff most of the takedowns. My pick here is Takugoff. Okay, and then the main event of the prelims at women's strawweight 115, you got Amanda Ribas taking on Verna Jandaroba. Should be a fun scrap. Ribas, she took on Marina Rodriguez her last fight. In the first round, she gets the body lock trip off of Marina's combination, and then she lands ground and pound in full guard, but she eats some shots from the bottom, but they don't really do much. Definitely secures that round. But then in the second round, she gets collar tied, but then she lands uppercuts while she's in the collar tie. But then she walks, basically just kind of gets a little too confident, walks into a right cross, and then she gets dropped and TKO'd. Marina Rodriguez hits pretty hard, and that's all it was. But before that, she looked really good. Still lost, still got knocked out, but it was just that one shot that took her out. So, it doesn't make me think too much less of her. I thought she looked good before that. Marina Rodriguez just beat Mackenzie Dern. So, not really the worst loss you could have. And then Verna Jandaroba, her last fight, she took on Kanako Murata. In the first round, she lands straight right and hooks. And then lands straight and right hooks, and then she gets clinched to the fence, but she pulls a triangle, but she eats some ground and pound, and at first it looks like a bad move, but eventually she's able to work. She does eat some shots, but she's able to work, and she's able to get a deep armbar on her stomach. Can't finish it, but you see in the second round, Kanako's arm is very compromised. She can't really even lift it, so guess it worked out for her in the end. And then in the second round, she presses to the fence, and she lands straight right, lands a head kick as Kanako circles outside off the fence, and then she lands a straight right near the fence, and then she lands a straight right, and then a right hook. And then she gets that, and then in between rounds, the doctor stops it because her Kanako's arm is broken. So, like I said, it paid off for her. Pretty violent if you can cause a doctor stoppage with an armbar. Take a look at the betting line. Verna plus 145. Amanda is minus 165. Pretty close line here, relatively. You know, Jandaroba looked really good, but, you know, Jandaroba, she's going to have to get Ribas down, and Ribas has good wrestling herself, and I think her striking is better. I think it can get tricky. Verna can definitely catch her in something, but the line's pretty close here, so my pick here is Amanda Ribas. You got the curtain jerker, the first fight on the main card, 6-fight main card, 2 of 5. You got Man and Kawaii taking on Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan coming off a bit of layoff. He last fought last July on Fight Island, so it's a little bit of red flag, but Man and Kawaii took on Nikita Krylov his last fight. And the first round, he eats a short right as Nikita gets around his back, standing position. Then he gets struck down, but he eats a jab, but he lands a counter straight right. And then he lands a short right hook, but he eats a jab in the pocket, but he shoots a double off Nikita's jab, but he can't get it. But at least it gives him something to think about. Then the second round, he lands a head kick on the clinch break, lands a short right hook as Nikita comes forward. He eats a body kick, says he's moving in, however. Then he lands a knee to the head in the plum tie, pulls it down real quick and gets a knee to the head. And then he gets a takedown off of a spinning back kick from Nikita. Now, I think that's more on Nikita's bad ring IQ. And Magomed has good ring IQ because he realized that and was able to take advantage of it, so good for him. And then he just holds full guard, doesn't do too much damage, but definitely wins the round there. And then in the third round, he stops a single leg attempt. Then he gets a clinch to the inside trip on the fence, and then he keeps a body lock against the fence, and he's able to take him back down. And then he keeps that Turk leg, and he's able to, you know, his head's up against the fence and just, you know, keeps punching him, lands ground and pound, just secures the round, and didn't let him get up. And pretty smart victory from him. So it was a good victory from Magomed. And then Volkan Oezdemir, he took on Yuri Prochazka's last fight. And the first round, he presses forward, lands quick jabs. However, he eats a short jab and hooks as he's coming in, but he eats a jab, but he lands a straight right and then a flurry, and then he eats a jab and a straight right, and he covers up, but he eats an uppercut as he's moving forward. But then he lands a straight right and he throws a flurry, but he gets clinched, and then he lands a right hook as Yuri is coming into Volkan. Then he shoots a single and he presses him to the fence, doesn't get it, but disrupts the rhythm. Then in the second round, he eats a straight right and then a leg kick, and he eats a leg kick and then a head kick. Then he eats a right hook as he's coming in, and he gets chased to the fence and eats a 1-2, and then he gets knocked the fuck out, and it is what it is. That was a scrap. You know, he got some good shots in on Yuri. Yuri take one to give one. 2 crazy strikers going at it. But, you know, I think it's chin suspect at this point, unfortunately. But Volkan plus 245, Magomed minus 310. I hate the price, but Volkan layoff, suspect chin. Magomed look extremely solid, nothing flashy. Might give up a round or two, might take a big shot, but I think he'll be able to recover. My pick here is Magomed and Kawaii. Second fight on the main card, 170. You got Li Jingliang taking on Khamzat Chimaev, the long-awaited return of Khamzat. And, you know, a lot of hype on this fight. Call me crazy, but I kind of already know what I'm going to go with, just basically because of the line. Past 2 weeks, there's these fights that I didn't really even do research on because I had such a good feeling about them and the circumstances surrounding the fight and the betting line, like, and this is one of them, you know. And also, we don't have a lot of data on Khamzat. He hasn't fought in a year, had COVID, wanted to retire. You don't want to let the narrative play too much into your decision, but, you know, but you take a look at the betting line, Khamzat's minus 590, basically 600. Li Jingliang plus 425. I mean, you know, I'm sorry, I gotta take Li Jingliang. It is what it is. Li Jingliang had a beautiful knockout over Santiago Ponzinibbio. Santiago Ponzinibbio just got a nice win. And Khamzat, yeah, he knocked out Gerald Meerschaert with 1 punch. Gerald Meerschaert suspect chin. He won his last fight, but he got dropped. And then before that, you know, he fought guys not even in his weight class. It might come back to bite me in the ass, but I don't care. I don't feel comfortable betting minus 600 on a Khamzat. My pick here is Li Jingliang. Okay, and then you go on to the third fight of the main card, not the feature fight, because there's 6 fights. You got heavyweight. You got Alexander Volkov taking on Marcin Tabora. This is going to be a fun one. Big step up for Marcin Tabora. If he beats Volkov, he's an elite heavyweight. And Volkov needs a win here. He'll be able to fend off a young up-and-comer here. Volkov took on Cyril Gahn his last fight, 5 rounds, but the fight more or less went the same every round, so I'm just going to do like a normal 3-round fight. First round, he presses forward, lands 1-2s, and then and then he lands leg kicks, but he eats a jab at range. He eats a right hook, but he gets clinched to the fence. He eats a 3-punch combo at range, then he backs up. Then in the second round, he eats a leg kick at range, eats leg kicks at range, but he eats a straight left to the face and to the body, and then he lands a lead left hook on Cyril as he's coming in, and then he lands a right hook, but he eats a right over the jab. Cyril starts throwing that over his jab. Then he eats a blitz to the fence. And in the third round, he eats a straight left on the fence, but then he lands left hook on the fence. Then he gets clinched to the fence, eats knees and a right hook. Then he gets pressed and he eats jabs, eats a blitz and an uppercut, and he eats jabs in a firefight, and eats some body kicks, and then more or less the same. Basically, Volkov will be able to fire off a couple jabs, a couple counter shots, but Cyril will be able to slip bomb and land a quick flurry, clinch him up against the fence, land some knees, make it dirty, beat him up a little bit, and that's how the fight went. But Volkov has that jab, able to keep distance, but Cyril's special. So, and then Marcin Tabora took on Walt Harris the last fight. Great performance from him. In the first round, got a little rocky for him. Eats a head kick at range, gets splits to the fence, eats combos, and then he gets rocked with a head kick and a 1-2, but he clinches up against the fence, and then he lands able to land a body kick at range. Catches the kick, gets the takedown to side mount, and then he's able to get around the back, put his hooks in, and then get the TKO finish. And like I said, Tabora, his fight before that, took on freaking Greg Hardy. I mean, Greg Hardy's Greg Hardy, and he was getting pieced up the first round too. So basically, how I see it, Tabora is going to eat some shots, but I think Volkov is going to be able to keep Tabora off him. Tabora, it's crucial in my opinion that Tabora gets that takedown. I don't think he's going to be able to get on Volkov, or if he does, I think he's going to have to work very hard for it. I don't think it's going to be worth it for him. I think he's going to get tired, and I think Volkov will be able to deal with, right out the rest of the round whenever Tabora gets a takedown, and come back and jab him up, keep him at distance. Tabora plus 245, Volkov minus 310. Don't like the price at all. But I see clear path to victory for Volkov here. Volkov's an established vet, and Tabora has a lot to prove in his fights. I'm not ready to bet on Tabora here. My pick here is Alexander Volkov. Okay, now on to the feature fight. At 155 pounds, you got Islam Makhachev taking on Dan Hooker, and Jesus, man, what a storyline going into this fight. Dan Hooker took on Nasrat Haqparast his last fight, and he was supposed to leave that night or something to go back home to New Zealand, and he just said, no, fuck it, I'm going to stay in Vegas, and I'm going to take the Islam Makhachev fight on a month and a half notice. So, awesome, dude. Seriously, that's amazing. Huge testicles on that guy. I don't think it's a smart move. Islam is a motherfucker, and you're going to take him on short notice when you're not with your family, but it is what it is. You got to respect Dan Hooker regardless, and this is going to be a fun scrap regardless, so I'm excited to look into this, and I'm excited to watch this fight. Islam Makhachev took on Thiago Moises his last fight. In the first round, he presses forward, throws combos, but he eats a head kick, but he blocks it mostly, but still gets through, and then he gets clinched, but he's able to get off, and he lands a 1-2 on the fence, and then he's able to grab that plum tie real quick, lands knees, and then he's able to get the takedown with the body lock, and then he lands some nice ground and pound to end the first round, starting off a little slow here. In the second round, he presses, pumps the jab, but he eats the right hook as Moises charges forward. But then he lands left and right hooks and then a body kick. But then he gets reversed in the clinch and gets taken down with a double off the fence. But he's able, and then Moises gets on his back, but he's able to shake him off. And then Makhachev's able to get back control. And then he gets the cross wrist, and he's able to work for the choke. And then he gets him flat and lands some ground and pound. And then in the third round, he lands a check right hook, lands a straight right up against the fence, and then he gets clinched, but he defends the body lock with a wizard kick, and he's able to stuff the single, and he gets around his back, standing position, and then he's able to get the mat return, and he gets hooks in, and Moises goes for an ankle lock, but, Makhachev not really in any danger. He knew what was up, but just kind of read that, good on Moises, kind of stayed out of damage, and kind of just tied him up for a minute of the end of that round, but Makhachev was fine the whole time. Then the fourth round, he's able to get the double on the fence and land some ground and pound, and then he's able to get to the back, and then he works through a naked choke submission. Not much to it, just kind of progressively building throughout the fight, and just turned it on in the fourth round. It was a little too much for Moises. Moises had his moments, but Makhachev definitely dominated. Took him a little while, but he got the job done. Then Dan Hooker took on Nasrat Haqparast his last fight. In the first round, he presses forward, throws body kicks, eats a right hook at range, but then he eats a jab, and then a right hook as he's pressing. But then he stalks forward, pumps his jab, shoots a single, and then he lands a body shot, and then he's able to land a knee. Doesn't get it, but he's still shooting. He gets it later on, planting the seeds here. And then in the second round, he presses forward, lands a body kick, shoots a single on the fence. He's able to get that plumb tie and up against the fence, his back against the fence, and lands knees to the body. He's able to get a quick double on the fence, but he maintains position. Half press gets up, but he's able to keep the clinch on there, keep the pressure on him. Then he lands a right hook to the body on the break of the clinch. Then he slips a jab, and he like sort of a pass by, and then he gets a body lock lift takedown on half press to end the round, which is really nice and pretty unexpected from Dan Hooker. And then in the third round, he eats left hooks as he's coming forward, but then he level changes, and he shoots a beautiful double as Nasrat is coming forward. Couldn't have been any cleaner, really. But then he's able to get side control, transition to the back, but then Hack Price is able to get up. But then as Hack Price is coming forward on their feet, he's able to get another takedown, just kind of level changes, hits that windshield wiper, and takes him down and rides him out the rest of the round. And not like a dominant performance from Hooker, but Hag Press definitely a step below his normal competition, but no punk by any means. And he really needed this fight. There was a lot of pressure on him, and he got the job done. He added a new element with that wrestling. I thought it looked great. I'm really impressed with Dan Hooker and Hag Press in this fight. Take a look at the betting line. Dan Hooker plus 450, Makhachev minus 630. This is another one that I absolutely hate. But it is what it is, dude. I really like Dan Hooker. Like I said, I really respect him for taking this fight. It's amazing. But, this is reality. Honestly, I hope he wins. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he's going. Too many circumstances. On top of that, even if the circumstances were perfect, I would still pick Makhachev. I hate this line, but I just don't see a path to victory for Hooker here. Like they said, he can knock him out, hit him with a knee up the middle, but when's the last time he knocked somebody out? I mean, he just fought Nakar Hasbullah. His levels below. Makhachev didn't knock him out. It is what it is. I hate the price, but I'm not going to do any props or anything because I don't think Makhachev necessarily going to finish Hooker. I think he might just dominate him for 3 rounds, but I think Hooker can hang in there. I think Hooker can have his moments, but my pick here is Zegoslan Makhachev. On to the co-main event, a banger for the 135 bantamweight interim title. You got Peter Yan taking on Corey Sandhagen. Wow. Corey Sandhagen had that very close fight against TJ Dillashaw, lost it. TJ Dillashaw is injured, so he's stepping in to fight Peter Yan, and great fight here. I'm just going to get into it. Peter Yan took on Aljamain Sterling his last fight. First round, eats straight combos, and he shells up, but he eats a knee to the head, but he lifts a single leg, and trips him, but just keeps him on the ground for whatever reason. And he's able to, and then back on the feet, he's able to stuff the double against the fence. But he gets taken down with the double on the fence, but he gets right back up, and then he drops him with the straight right at range when they're back on their feet. And then he drops him with a low kick, just gets him right at the ankle. Not like his leg was damaged that bad, but gets him down. Doesn't jump on him, just lets him know he can do that to him. And then he's able to fall on top of the wizard kick attempt from Aljamain in the scramble. They get into like a leg scramble. Aljamain goes for a leg lock, and then but then he's able to get through that, and then he's able to get a mat return. And in the second round, he stuffs a shot, and then he lands punches from a headlock position. He gets taken down with a double on the fence, but he gets right back up again, and he gets out of that position off the clinch. He stuffs a single on the fence, and then he eats straight combos, but he shells up, and he knows what he's doing. He's able to take some damage. He could tell Aljamain was gonna gas himself out, which he did. So it takes a little bit of damage early on, and then he gets a trip around the back, and then he's able to get the back control. And then he hits like that foot, so he'll like clench and just hit that back trip. Like, you don't really see that too much, but it is a pretty slick. Then in the third round, he hits jabs in the pocket, but he stuffs Aljamain's head, and then he lands a knee, and then he eats body shots, but he lands a straight right, and then a jab, and then he gets another back leg sweep takedown, but then he's able to defend a takedown from Aljamain on the fence, and then he gets another leg sweep, and then he eats a head kick as he's pressing forward, but he doesn't do too much, and then he eats some leg kicks pressing forward, but doesn't need too much damage. Close round in the third, and then in the fourth round, he gets the single leg trip. He picks the leg up and just with the trip takedown, doesn't jump on him though. And then back on the feet, he lands left hook to the body and then a right hook to the head. And then he eats body shots in the pocket, but he lands a kick to the body in the exchange. Then he eats a head kick, and then we all know what happened. Well, I guess you don't know, but Aljamain shoots in, and Yan's able to stuff him, just hold his head down there, and then cracks him with a knee while Aljamain's knee is down, gets disqualified. Not going to get into it. Is what it is. Bad ring IQ from the champion, but I really don't think he's going to make that bad mistake this fight. But it sucks because it was a pretty entertaining fight, and Yan was really turning it on in those last couple rounds. But it is what it is. But he looked good. He looked good. Like I said, he might have gave away a round or two, just let Aljamain gas himself out. But decent game plan from him. And then Corey Sandhagen taking on TJ Dillashaw. What a goddamn fight this was. In the first round, Corey backs up, lands a straight right and a flying knee, and then they get into that inverted triangle position. But I didn't think it was that tight. But then back on the feet, eats left hook, and then his kick is caught. But then his back is taken standing by TJ. But he tries to roll, but then TJ gets on top. But Corey gets that heel hook attempt, which really fucked up TJ's leg, I guess. Like, after the fact, and he has to have surgery now. So, you know, didn't look like much at the time, but, you know, he did a lot of damage. I mean, Corey Sandhagen is a dangerous dude. Then in the second round, he gets pressed to the fence and eats a double jab. But he backs up and counters with a 1-2, but he ducks hooks, and then he lands an uppercut, and then he's able to drop TJ with the left hook, and then he lands another left hook when TJ presses forward, and then he lands a flying knee, and then another combination, but then he gets clinched to the fence, and TJ's able to get on, but TJ's able to get on his back. Basically every time he gets clinched to the fence, TJ is around his back. And then in the third round, he eats a hook flurry from TJ, and then he gets clinched, and he gives his back again. Then he lands a jab at range when he gets out, and then he slips a hook and lands a right hook. He eats leg kicks, but he gets taken down off a spinning back kick. Like I said, a little bit about ring IQ from Sandhagen. He did this a couple times. I don't know what he was thinking. Probably thought he could roll out, but hopefully he fixes it for this fight, which I think he will. And then he's able to Granby himself out, roll out, and then he eats a jab, and then he gets doubled to the fence, but he's able to stay on his feet. Then in the fourth round, he eats a straight right, and he gets pressed with leg kicks, but he lunges in and gets clinched to the fence, and then he lands a short left hook, and he pumps a short left, but then he gets clinched again. And then in the fifth round, TJ is able to pass Yan by of Corey, and then he's able to get back control, kind of like duck under pass by. Standing, and then he gets pressed to the fence, but then he stuffs a double from space from TJ, and then he lands a straight right as he's moving backward, but he eats a straight right in the exchange, and then he lands a left hook and then a straight right, but then he eats a jab and he gets pressed to the fence, but then he lands a nice left to the body on TJ to end the fight. And you know, back and forth fight. We whether think Corey won or didn't win, it was a close fight. Corey made some mistakes. I think he could have won that fight if he didn't do all that spinning shit, and he just let TJ clinch him a lot, and I think he has the ability to keep him off him. I thought he didn't think the judges valued it that much, and that card, there's a lot of fucky decisions before that, so it is what it is. Close fight regardless, great fight regardless. Sandhagen plus 190, Peter Yan minus 235, and basically who I was going to pick was going to go with the line. I think Yan might have been like around 300 earlier in the week, or I heard that somewhere, so I was like, no, I'm going to pick Sandhagen, but I mean, minus 235, it's a little high. You know, that's about where I'm comfortable, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, I just think Yan's going to be able to take him down, and Sandhagen doesn't do great in the clinches. I think Sandhagen might win a couple rounds, jab him up a little bit, but Sandhagen's not going to get tired, but I think Yan's just going to keep moving forward, and I don't think Sandhagen's going to be able to do much damage to him. I think Yan's going to be able to get those trips on him. I think he's going to be able to clinch him. I think he's going to be able to pressure him. I think he's just going to be able to win on points. I don't really see a finish from either guy. I don't see Yan getting caught in any submission here. Don't like the price, but my pick here is Peter Yan. And I don't think he's going to do the illegal knee again. And if he does, that's my own fault. Anyway, on to the main event. You got a banger, long overdue. We had to answer some questions here at 205, as well as bantamweight. Both divisions kind of a mess. Bantamweight's worse, but, you know, 205 needs cleared up. But you got Jan Blachowicz taking on Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is 42 years old, and I'm happy for the guy. He gets another crack at the title. He got a crack a while ago, 5 years, I believe, against John Jones. Couldn't get it done, but he's back. This is his last shot. And you know what? Jan, man, just surprising everybody. Just had that big win over Izzy Adesanya and beat Reyes when Reyes was the shit. So, should be a fun fight. Blachowicz took on Israel Adesanya his last fight. And in the first round, he stands at range, eats a few jabs, lands a head kick, and then he lands a body kick. And then in the second round, he lands a straight right, eats a body kick, eats a jab, but he throws a combo, and then he lands a body kick. And then Izzy crashes in, and Jan's able to get the clinch, and he's able to land a knee in the clinch. First couple rounds, not too much happens. They're kind of at range, trying to feel each other out. But, you know, Yan stayed in there, stayed composed, and didn't get hit with any big shots. So. And in the third round, he crowds forward, and he lands a 1-2. Then he shoots a double on the fence, and he gets it real quick, but Izzy's able to get back up. And then, but then he eats a left hook in the exchange when they break out. And then whenever Izzy comes in to swing, he's able to counter. and then he able, when they break, he's able to land his jab, but then he eats a jab and then a right cross. But he lands a jab as Izzy advances towards him. Then he lands a counter left hook. And then in the fourth round, he clinches to the fence and he lands a right hook on the break. Then he lands a straight right. He eats a right cross from Izzy, pretty stiff one in the exchange. But then he throws the left hook and then he gets the double from space. And that's how you take Israel Adesanya down. You cannot take him down on the fence. You take him down in open space. That's what Yan did. Threw left hook and just blast double and got him to the ground. Didn't do much. He was able to work the half guard, some decent ground and pound, enough to win the round. And that doesn't matter because, you know, he's fighting Israel Adesanya. So good on him. Very smart. Then in the fifth round, he lands a jab as he comes forward. He eats overhand right. Then he eats a spinning back kick. Then he lands a straight right. And then again, left hook and then a blast double into half guard. Rides him out for the rest of the round, just like the fourth round, and secures the decision victory. And it was a very smart performance from him. He didn't overextend himself. He didn't rush him. Took his time. Went to the wrestling when he needed to. Got those rounds. First 2 rounds could go either way for either guy. I think he got it done. Very smart from him. A little bit bigger than Izzy, but it's still Israel Adesanya, the best 185 on the planet, beating the shit out of everybody. You know, Jan's the man. And then Glover Teixeira took on Thiago Santos. Now, this was about a year ago, so Glover coming off of about a year layoff, but it is what it is, how the division played out. Not the worst thing in the world. You know, he's already old at this point, so it is what's another year. It doesn't matter. Maybe that would actually help him, so don't really count that too much. But he took on Thiago Santos, the goddamn monster, Thor's hammer, Thiago Santos. In the first round, he presses forward, but he eats a left hook. Then he clinches, eats a barrage of hooks, gets rocked, and then he doesn't get dropped, but, you know, he's really hurt. He drops down on that single. And then, you know, Santos is elbowing him the whole time, but he's able to get the double leg takedown on the fence. And then Santos is back up. He's able to get the mat return, get into half guard. And then he's able to get full mount and then back to half guard and then just lands elbows the whole time, does some damage. I really don't know how you'd score that round. I guess you give it to Glover just because how it ended. But, you know, Santos hurt him pretty bad that first round. Then his second round, he lands an overhand right and then a double to the fence. And he lifts him off the fence and gets a big slam takedown. Then he lands elbows in half guard. Then he's able to get the full mount. And then literally like 10 seconds left, he's able to get the rear naked choke. He has the hooks in and everything. And he has it in deep, but time just ran out. So it is what it is. Some judges would give it a 10-8, but, you know, very close to finishing. And then in the third round, Thiago Santos is a monster and, you know, comes out like a bat out of hell. He shoots a double on the fence, but he eats a knee to the body, and then he gets dropped with the left hook. Santos is able to stop his takedown, knee to the body, left hook, hard left hook, drops him. And then he eats a flurry on the ground, but then Glover's able to sweep, and he's able to actually get a double up against the fence. And then he's able to get Santos down. Then he's eventually able to get back control and get the hooks in. And then he gets a rear naked choke submission. Santos, that's all he had. You know, as soon as Glover was able to reverse and get that takedown, Santos didn't have anything left. And Glover was really good on the ground. So he just took it. It was a great fight. Glover takes a lot of damage. He took a lot of damage in the Anthony Smith fight, but he's able to persevere. Yan hits too hard, in my opinion. I don't think that's going to work. I think, you know, he might be able to he'll be able to get dropped and recover, but he can't keep taking Yan shots like that. Glover plus 245, Yan minus 310. Don't like the price again, but, you know, I've been thinking about this fight for a long time, ever since it's been announced. I've always picked Yan, and I watch the fights back, and I don't feel any differently. My pick here is Jan Blachowicz. All right, guys, thank you for watching me. I appreciate it. Finally having some winning weeks. We're finally at these really exciting fights. We got this awesome pay-per-view. We got another awesome pay-per-view next weekend. I appreciate it. Please comment down below. Talk to me. Give me your different opinions. Fight with me. I don't care. Tell me what you want me to do. Definitely going to be working on some stuff. I know I need to improve the channel. Needs to improve the background, things like that. But give me any suggestions you have. Start a conversation with me. Like, subscribe, share to people. Like I said, you know, not the best videos in the world, but some solid advice to win some money, especially if you're not a huge MMA fan. You know, you could listen to this and get a good pick and win some money. Follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all that. Do post-fight recaps and, you know, tweet out some of my thoughts and whatever fights. I like to comment on other people's stuff. I have some funny comments, and I just like to get involved with the MMA community in general, so talk to me on there, whatever. But I appreciate it. Thanks for watching me, and this is going to be a great card. Fight Island, Abu Dhabi, early morning. Let's get this money, baby. You know, as a fan, Polish power, baby. I love what the guy's done. I'm Polish. That dude kind of looks like me. I'm not as scary as him, but Polish Power, baby. Gotta ride with him.